Hello and welcome in another episode of Derail Valley, where I'm doing my best to drive virtual locomotives without causing major disaster. Or do I? Anyway, before we begin, I'd like to remind you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done that already, and follow up with bell button to turn on the notifications and stay up to date with my latest content. So, as I promised you before, in my today's episode, we are going to have some fun with Steam Locomotive. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I have unlocked the license in the previous episode, which you can see on your screens right about now. So we now got the license, which is good. We also got all the equipment needed to operate the Steam Locomotive, which is shovel and a lighter. And it's fueled. Right. So this one works. And as we are here in Iron Ore Mine East, which is all the way down in northeast corner of the map. Let me just we are in here right now. Every single job from this station will pretty much take us here into the middle of the map, into steel mill. And that's all the jobs we can actually take right now, because entire yard is filled with wagons full of iron ore. Yes, I eventually filled that job that was there, last 6 wagons if I remember correctly. Yeah. Anyway, unfortunately, it didn't generated freight haul that I would like to have. So I got 4 smaller freight hauls, which doesn't really sound like they are worth the money that I would like to get for this job. So I got into a crazy idea that I could do some testing for developers, and if game economics works as intended. And I decided that even though I don't have concurrent jobs, which doesn't officially let me accept 2 jobs at once, I will still take 2 jobs, or I will at least attempt to. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take every single wagon from this siding, and those are jobs IME FH34, which I'm having in my hand, and that's the job I'm going to accept, and IME FH39, which I also got with me, which is this one. So both of them should weigh 430 tons, which will leave us at grand total of 860 tons worth of cargo, exactly 10 wagons, if you want to be more precise. That's exactly what we are going to take to steel mill. I will, however, accept only one of these jobs, at least right now in this office. I will then drop off this job at appropriate siding and leave my train with 5 wagons attached that belongs to other job. What I'm going to do next is to accept this job at validator down in the steel mill. If that's going to work, I should be able to just shunt those wagons into a correct siding and complete the job. And if that works, that is obviously a bug. I will report that. However, you are going to see that with your own eyes. If not, I will have a lot of costs. And I might end up being a little bit bankrupt after that, because as you can see, I got $9,500 in my pocket. So that's not much of a that's definitely not much of a buffer in terms of money. So I will now set all my sidings so I can just get myself into the right position. functioning will be a key in this example. Okay, so I'm going to attach my steam locomotive to this consist, then I'm going to accept one of these jobs and get the ball rolling. Right, so let me jump in. So we are now inside the steam locomotive. For whoever haven't seen my video about me learning how to use steam locomotive, it should be exactly the same as it was before the patch. The difference is that the loco will be less prone to wheel slip. So I will now set everything up as I would normally do. So I will add some water into the tank, which is not exactly full. I will then use my shovel to drop in some coal into the tank because we need to fire it up. There we go. A bit more would be useful because we need to get ourselves into good position. So now we can use the lighter, flick it, fire it up, and in order to light it, you just need to drop it inside. It's gonna come back to your pocket. Yeah, it's on the last slot, so we can flick it back. There we go. We can now close the oven and it will gain temperature. So that's the temperature valve. If it drops close to 200, you're gonna hear that familiar bell that you can hear every time there is some sort of alarm in shunter. So it's pretty much the same in this locomotive. The difference is that I can't light up the clocks, unfortunately, so we will have to live with what we got. That lever down here is sander, so I can open it up and start dropping some sand, or I can leave it closed. This lever is a train brake, and it's right now filling because we are starting to generate some steam. So we need to wait for this one to fill before we can move out. This one is a train brake, and it's now disengaged. Both brakes are in fact disengaged because there's no point to leave them engaged, as until there is no steam in the system, that thing won't work anyway. Right, these valves lets us dump extra water if we will overfill the tank by any chance, dump some steam, or turn on the blower. Blower, if I would turn it now, would increase the generation of steam. But we don't need to rush, because as I'm explaining it to you, we have more than plenty time to actually generate enough steam. So I won't be using a blower. And I can put out the fire by turning and holding this valve, because as soon as I turn it, it will come back to its original position. So you just need to turn and hold it for a few seconds to put out the fire in the boiler. So we should now have enough steam to be able to move. We got very little water, but I can increase the rate of filling it up. And it is very important. You can get, you can be a little bit lazy and leave it opened by just one click, and it will automatically fill in the tank. The problem is that you will use much more water than you would normally do. So it's better to close it and open it up fully for a short burst. However, as you can see, generating steam is actually using a lot of water. So at the very beginning, it's good to keep it slightly open, but remember to close it down, especially when you are letting the loco to coast. Right, reverser is a very interesting thing in a steam locomotive. And because the more you open it, the more power you get to either side. As you can see, there are those like lines. So right now it's in neutral position. If you turn it forward, it's going forward. If you turn it backwards, we can roll the loco backwards. However, the more you turn it to the forward, the more power you get, but less top speed you get. So in this position, we are actually getting top speed out of the system, but the power is smaller. So if we need to start the loco or go uphill, it won't pull the train up. But in this position, we can pull very heavy cargo. Unfortunately, we won't be too fast. Right, so we don't want to lose our resources. We got full steam generated. Yeah, and the boiler is already cooling off. So I'm gonna shovel a little bit more coal so that I can keep the steam generation at appropriate level. I can release the brakes and push the accelerator forward. And the locomotive will start rolling. Obviously, I got fantastic whistle. Unfortunately, everything in this locomotive, including brakes, is using that steam. So the more steam I'm using, the more I'm using whistles and other stuff, the more steam I need to generate. The more steam I want to generate, the more water I will use. And so on and so on. So I need to remember about that. Okay, so we are rolling in. And we should soon be able to get into the right siding. Oh, we had slight break, so it's my fault. I didn't notice that I just slightly had this lever turned so that locomotive brake was actually engaged. Anyway, mistakes were made, mistakes will be made, and that's the fun of the game. Right. Oh, I forgot about this magical thing. This is a vent that we can open to increase generation of steam at a cost of higher burn rate. And it works while we are moving. So it's going to be very useful if we are about to negotiate some very steep hill, especially while having all that thing behind us. So this is going to be very, very interesting ride, and hopefully, if my method works, we are going to make approximately $30,000 out of this run. If not, I'm gonna make just short of 10,000 or just a bit over 10,000, and then unfortunately the rest will be just pure cost, which I'm hoping to not pay for. Right. We are now past the junction, so I can now switch my loco to the other direction. There we go. Let's throw that switch and we should be all set. So, reverser is going backwards, brake is off. We can now reverse to pick up these wagons. That should be enough. We are already doing 8 kilometers per hour. Okay, water is burning. We will keep burning water. However, water burn rate is smaller when we don't have to generate the steam. Okay, we are pulling into this wagons. There we go. We are getting close. Right, one thing about this locomotive is that even though fuel is not that expensive, I'm not going to lie, the fuel is a very, very small cost. The problem is with emissions. Emissions actually cost a lot in this locomotive. Right, I can open the oven and shovel some more coal as we are stationary right now. So let's benefit from that. Let's close this one, and as the steam is generating very slowly, water is running out, but we should be alright. Okay, so we can now connect these wagons. Definitely they need to get their brakes off. Good. So let's inspect if both consists are actually connected, because I technically left them connected and they should be okay. But I don't want to set off for my merry way and find out that these wagons are in fact not connected. Right. So now let's find out which one is on the back. IME FH34, and that's the one that I need to accept. There we go, job accepted. I can take these wagons and I need to leave them on siding B3I. It is going to be important later. Let me just check. Station map, steel mill, transfer yard, B3I. We are approaching from northeast, so B3I is the second to the right. Hopefully it's gonna be clear. Right, we are losing a little bit of water. I'm gonna leave it like that for now, because we are going to focus on getting this ball rolling. So I can release brakes, turn on the reverser, and we can pretty much get this ball rolling. So if I'm correct, and I might be wrong, so don't take my word for it, we will find out at the end of our journey if I'm right. The wagons on the very back, last 5 to be exact, are the ones that we actually taking as our official job. However, we are picking up 5 more wagons that will effectively act as a second job that we got with us, and we got this job or paper for this job on us. So technically, if we are lucky, the game should think that we haven't stolen these wagons, or the game should also think that we haven't done anything wrong, and it should let us get this job from different station or from different validator. If that is possible, then there is practically no point to pay for extra licenses, which is breaking the game's economy. And it's a good reason for me to actually report it as a bug to developers. However, the game might actually think correctly that we took the wrong wagons, and it might punish me for taking the wrong job. So I'm actually curious to see how it's going to end. Right, some more coal has been added, so we can generate more steam. As you can see, we are struggling to keep it up. I'm gonna open the vent, which is going to help us generate a little bit more steam. We are now gaining some speed, which is very, very good. The new speed limit is 60, and now the whole route will go down. So I'm going to keep the loco going on a full, on part steam. I'm gonna let our engine run for a bit and use some of that steam. But very soon I will let it coast, because right now we are on this part of the journey where I just need to keep my boiler on fire. I can reduce the amount of water that I'm putting into the boiler. As you can see, we are burning some of it, but the rate of burning will decrease. Oh, I can close the vents, so we won't burn all our coal too fast. And now I can focus on braking. And I really need to focus on braking and keep this consist under control. Oh. I need to watch out on our speed. We were a bit too fast. So there is a lot of brake work. That is what we are going to spend our steam on. So it's not going to be spent on accelerating. There will be very little of that. Most of our job will be in regards to braking, and considering that we got very poor visibility, we will in fact have to focus a lot on shoveling some coal into the system so that we can keep the fire up, keeping our boiler running and not crashing onto something. Oh, 50. So we need to start slowing down, especially here, because we are exactly at 50. Again. Oh. Yeah, those wagons were really angry. Right, for now everything should be set, because as far as I remember I've already did that route on the opposite direction of screen, so most of the junctions should be set. At least I trust myself that much. So I need to keep an eye on that. Obviously we can't speed up too much, but we should be pretty much okay for now. I can obviously set my brakes so that they will be on hold at all times, but that's not the most effective use of your steam. You might eventually get better results by braking a bit less or using more locomotive brake. The problem is that I'm having 860 tons of steel and iron behind me, and really last idea I want to use, or last thing I want to do, is to crash just because I don't keep an eye on the speed limits. So right now we are doing okay. We are generating enough steam, and even though locomotive is speeding up, which is giving me actual idea to throw in some coal as long as I can, because we are getting to 70 kilometers per hour. So that is right speed. We are coasting all the time pretty much. We just let our train go down as it wishes to. Unfortunately right now we need to start braking really hard. We hit 70 speed limit, going a little bit faster than 70. I am going to slow down below 60 because I don't trust this tunnel. I really don't know what's on the other side, so I don't want to end up in a situation where I need to slow down really fast. Right, the brakes are released. I'm doing 50 kilometers per hour pretty much, which is optimal speed. Yeah, the next speed limit is 60 and I'm going downhill, and as you can see, that weight of the cargo already brought us back to 56, 58 kilometers per hour. So brakes on hold so that we can keep that speed. There we go, new speed limit 80. I do not trust this. Yeah, another speed limit 60. We need to watch out on that. The speed limits are changing very rapidly, so I can't trust that next sign won't show up like 40. So I am holding myself at speed of 55, which seems to be optimal at this time. I am constantly using brake, so it is going to take a toll on the wheels. But as long as I'm doing that, my locomotive keeps doing a good job. Right, I can release the brakes for now because we are hitting even ground, but I still need to watch on my speed. For now, everything seems to be a-okay. Temperature in the boiler seems to be stable for now. Water is okay. I can close the valve for now to save some of that water. And we are doing perfectly fine. We are on even ground. The train is keeping 50 kilometers per hour, and we are where we are. Yes, we are doing that circle now. So that is good. We now hit a zone where we can do 90 kilometers per hour, but I believe it's not for long. We will have to slow down a bit in just a moment. It is a very, very difficult descent. Yeah, we are speeding up a little bit because train went into a downhill route. I am trying to see, yeah. Oh, a new speed limit is 40. Oh. Yeah. I need to slow down past 40, okay. Now I can use that time when I'm slowing down to throw in some more coal. Okay, as you can see, just this shot on the brakes brought me back to 30 kilometers per hour, which is optimal speed for this zone. I'm still coasting. I haven't touched the accelerator yet, and the sheer weight of the wagons is pushing me down. I need to slow down a bit, so I'm going to use locomotive brake for now, just to keep speed below 40. I don't want to speed up until I go past this sign, and my train is not that short. I also need to keep an eye on the junction, because we should be approaching that. Now I can release the locomotive brake. It should bring me back to normal speed. Yeah, we are slowing down a little bit, but again, we are about to hit an area where we are going to be going downhill. It is a very, very demanding. Oh, not this one. I might in fact give it a touch on the accelerator now, because I accidentally stopped the entire consist. Okay, a touch of water. Yeah, we are going to use a little bit of our steam, but that's not a problem. We slowed down a little bit too much, but we will regain that speed. There is not a big deal. Okay, next speed limit is 70, but I bet it's not for long. Let me see the world map. Yeah, in just a moment, we will in fact have to slow down anyway, because right behind this tunnel we should be hitting new speed limits. So we are now in 40 zone. I will use train brake because we need to slow down. Yeah, we are above 40. We need to start slowing down. Again, I'm using train brake in order to do so, because it's much more effective and I'm pulling quite a lot of weight in here. Speed limit 50, we are approaching the junction which is right behind this tunnel. So I want to slow down because I'm gonna go through some heavy, yeah, you see, 30. So I am still a bit too fast. Ooh, yeah, that was close. Right. I've actually used enough steam on this one that might bring me to a stop. I'm gonna use some of my steam and again shovel up some coal. Otherwise I might lose it. So let's now close that thing. Right. Okay, we are going through the junction. We need to remember that we can't go faster than 30 kilometers per hour for quite a while because this is quite long consist and some of the wagons are still in a 30 kilometer per hour zone. So let's let it coast for a moment. Let's turn the accelerator, reverser down and let's let the train to coast again. Because we started to gain speed on its own. There is no point to actually speed up. New speed limit 60. We are doing 40. We should be a-okay now. Right, the entire consist seems to be doing alright. Let's see what we can see. We don't see much, but thankfully this is a half open cabin. We are still doing, yeah, we are approaching 50 kilometers per hour, because going downhill will eventually lead to such outcome. So I'm going to use locomotive brake to slow us down a little bit. I want to keep that 50 kilometer per hour speed. Oh, I might add some train brake and reduce loco brake, because if I will keep braking as a locomotive, I might end up jumping off the tracks, or I might end up being pushed off the tracks. Oh, I'm not sure what was that, but eventually we are doing 45 kilometers per hour. The speed limit is 70, but I don't really remember how much it is going to change. We are now going downhill. 60, yeah, it is going down. There should be a junction soon. Yes, we are approaching junctions with a hard turns. So I'm gonna hold it on brake until we hit 40. Yeah, we managed to slow down a little bit. Let's keep it that way. Because right after this turn, which I have a blind spot next to me, right after that turn, we need to negotiate those hard turns and junctions. And I believe that speed limits might be quite low in there. So there is, yeah, we are approaching 50 kilometers per hour. Again, we need to slow down on this turn. Because as you can see, we can't see shit. Yeah, 50, just as I thought. Okay, 50 is not bad speed limit. However, I still don't know what's the speed limit on the junction itself. Okay, it's 50. So we are doing 40. We should be okay. We might even push it a little bit harder on on the accelerator, and again we can use that time to shovel in some coal, because now we are going to actually need our steam. 50 kilometers per hour. Yeah, we are approaching more even ground, because we should be next to oil something, isn't it? How is it called? Yeah, Oil Well North and Goods Factory and Town, which means that we are pretty much in the spot where the ground gets quite even. So we can now start accelerating. Not too fast, not too much, but we need to start getting that power from this boiler. Finally. Oh my goodness, I used a bit more water than I planned, but well, we are rolling, so I find it very, very good. I think if we get 80 kilometers per hour in this stretch of a route, we should be a-okay. We are just above 600 degrees Celsius. Right. Speed limit 70, so we might let it coast. We are just at 58 right now, which is very good. Yeah, we are perfectly fine and alright. So far we are doing good with that heavy cargo. New speed limit 80. Just as I expected. It might drop a little bit because we got some turns and bends ahead. Can give it a little bit of a accelerator, but I can't go too much. There is a 60 km per hour speed limit right in front of us. It should pop up right now. Yeah, I still got eyes that works. Apparently, you might not see that on the video when I'm looking at objects far away, but yeah, I can eventually spot a danger slightly sooner than it is present. So we are exactly at the speed limit right now. New speed limit popped up, 80, but I still need to hold it for now. I can't speed up too fast. We need to let this train to pass this sign. And now, as we are entering this stretch of straight road, we can now go full steam ahead. Okay. There we go. We can now close this one. Okay, everything is opened. That's the maximum she got. She can't go any faster. That is top speed of this locomotive. We are absolutely flying right now. And what's the speed limit down there? That is 80. So we need to let it coast and start slowing down. Unfortunately, yeah, we are way above the speed limit, so it's better to actually slow down. 70. We are still above speed limit, but we are coasting. So okay, 70. Still want to keep slowing down. 80. Okay, I can now release the brakes. 70. Yeah, the brakes will take some time to release, so it will slow us down to 60, 50 kilometers per hour, something around that range. We are going slightly uphill, so I can give it a touch on the accelerator. I can give it a touch of water. We are having 600 degrees Celsius in in the boiler, so the steam will get generated. We are going pretty fast, but we are also approaching the station. So we should very soon start seeing some, yeah, that's 80, and we are going uphill, which is going to help us. As we are coasting, we don't need to use any brakes, which is going to again help us to preserve some of that steam inside the boiler. And I think, yes, this is a building where you start the game, which means that we should be very, very close to our destination. Speed limit is 80. It shouldn't go up, well, it shouldn't go below 30, and we are now doing 30 kilometers per hour. So I can now slowly approach this station. We are having perfectly right speed, so I can now focus more on setting up the junctions. Yeah, 30 kilometers per hour, that is what we got. I'm gonna let her coast, and now I need to spot the junctions that I can get rid of those switches. So I want to turn left on the first one, which is sorted, and then I need to get into the second junction. That's first, that's second, isn't it? There we go. It's all set and it's empty. Very convenient, very, very convenient. Okay, we can give it a little bit of accelerator, so the train is going to pull into that station. It's all set, so that is perfectly fine. Let me double check the job. We are doing 34 B3I, perfectly fine. We need to remember to detach those wagons first, because we have some spare cargo that we don't want to take. So we are now rolling in, we are coasting. There is no reason for us to actually keep on accelerating. The last wagons are just entering the junction, so we can start braking, because we need to have a little bit of a space right in front of us to actually detach the rest of the train. There we go. And as we are stopped, I might throw in some extra coal. There we go. And now let's see, we actually succeeded in cheesing the game. Right, I should now dump some steam. Right, so I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 from the end, so that's this one. So if I will disconnect that one, there we go. Close this one, disconnect the valve. Now I can jump into the cabin, release the brake. This one is released. I can just push us forward. Come on, come on. Okay, and now I can stop entire consist. Yeah, I can keep dumping the steam. So I'm completely disconnected with this consist. There is a space between. So now I can have a look if my method will work. So that's the task we had. It is completed. There is no penalty. There is this job. Okay. Now I need this job. Expired. Okay. So unfortunately, unfortunately, I have extra wagons that are absolutely not needed here. Is that a problem? No, not really. It is just extra issue that we will have later, or rather we won't, because that's how the game works. Anyway, close this valve. We can keep our steam generated, reduce the brake, and let's get out of this consist. Right, so now I can keep dumping my steam. That's how this shutoff works. So if you keep it, it will kill the fire. Technically it should be killed right now. It isn't. There we go. Let's hold it for a minute. Should technically kill the fire inside the boiler. Is it? It isn't doing that. So I guess we need to let it go away. Can obviously dump water, which will drain the tank, and that will stop generation of any steam. So steam is now not being generated. Yeah, we've closed the valve, so we can drain everything. We can sort the loco out. Yeah, it is dumping everything. The coal that is inside will burn off. I can take a nice picture of it, and while we failed to make extra money for extra load that we carried, unfortunately, well, at least we know that the game will work correctly and we can't cheese the system. The problem is that I haven't really got punished for doing that, and it is well, while normally I would get punished in real life for doing such thing, because, well, effectively you just wasted a tons of money for somebody. In this game, I don't think it's going into any sort of fees. Yeah, it's not even on the list of a fees. C002 is that how do you call it? I always keep forgetting the name of this wagon behind the loco. Anyway, yeah. So pretty much this is that wagon that holds my coal and water, and that cost is pretty much cost of refueling a steam locomotive. While L89, or was it L39? I think it's L89. Is it? Wheels, diesel? No. That's the wrong one. So we need to check L31, which is this one. We can print it off. So most of the costs of steam locomotive, as you can see, for that one route, we have to pay $501.90 for emissions. It is taking a lot of, well, a huge toll on environment. So I'm not going to lie, it's not the most ecological way of doing things. Anyway, we can now kill the fire. Yeah, it should have died. It is. Okay. So the boiler is drained, the boiler is empty, and the loco is now non-operational. It's ready to be stored. So that's it for today's episode, almost. There is only one more thing to do, which is my announcement. So as you may have noticed, I have been uploading videos pretty much every day since the patch came out, and while I love to play this game, while I love to spend a lot of time in this game, keep recording those videos and release them on a daily basis, unfortunately I have a regular job that I need to come back starting from Sunday. I also got other series that I need to take care of, and I need to record videos for them. So unfortunately, we came to a point where I need to start releasing my videos weekly as with every other series. So it's not the end of the series. We will keep doing some crazy and testing. We will keep also testing some various stuff in Derail Valley, and I will keep continue making content out of this game, as long as the game will provide me with interesting topics for you, and as long as you guys want to watch this thing. So we will definitely do more and more and more stuff in this game. We actually managed to make it in 28 minutes. I'm surprised. So we got plenty of times to discuss. Anyway, so videos will be released weekly from now on. And the next one after this one, which you are already watching, is going to be released on Saturday, 6th of June. And starting from now, every single Saturday is a day for a Derail Valley video. Same applies to other series. If you don't know and if you are interested, I am also having Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts that I'm featuring in series called Lots of Guns, and you can watch it every Monday, or you can find the link to this list on my channel. And finally, the last series is going to be Transport Fever 2, a series that is called Series 2, which started on this Wednesday, and you've probably already seen a first video. And that series is going to be released every Wednesday. So that is it. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. If you want to get informed about my new uploads, hit that notification bell button and don't forget to share your comments down below. Have a great day and see you all later. Later. Out.